Hey everyone, welcome back. So here's where we're diving into WordPress. We're going to take the static site that we created, we're going to make it dynamic, we're going to be adding lots of WordPress tags, and we're also going to clean this up a little bit. So it's stretched out because I've had to lower the resolution for this tutorial, but we could improve this, and I did so. So here is the final product that I showed you at the beginning. Let's view some of the differences that I changed. One, I didn't think there was enough contrast here. It's pretty light. So what I did was I took this top navigation and I made it much darker. Okay, I added some slight texture to this top navigation and this little lighter gray. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's very subtle. Much more padding. You see how up against the walls these widgets are? If we come back, I added much more spacing just to keep this as clean as possible. I also changed the red background. I thought that was too much, so I turned it just to a darker, a lighter black, which incidentally is about the same color as this. Did I do anything else? Yeah, the headings, I thought that dark black and the bold, it was just too much and not necessary. So I got rid of the bold, I reduced the color, and I think that looks a lot better. We have these read more links. So, it's still a very simple site, but I think this one looks light years better than this. Okay, just with subtle differences. So now we begin creating WordPress installation and getting started. So in this lesson, we're going to log in. We're going to be working live. I'm going to be working on a site, my own site, jeffwade.com. So if we go there, permission to access, it's forbidden. We don't have anything on there. We're going to be working live. At least I'm going to be working live. So I'm going to log into my account. I'm with Media Temple. I'm a big fan of them. I highly recommend. For about $17 a month, you get just a great system or so many sites that you can have. It's really a great deal. Many hosts now allow you one-click installations for WordPress. So if yours, check in to see if yours has that ability. If not, you'll have to do it manually. If you're unaware of how to do that, I recommend go to blog.themeforce.net. Drew Douglas runs a great screencast series on WordPress, and it'll show you exactly how to install WordPress. We're going to do it the quick way because a lot of hosts are allowing this. So I'm in my account. I'm going to scroll down and click Manage Databases. And we can, I'm sorry, this probably isn't even the right area. Let's find, I don't do this too much, let's find one-click installations right here, one-click applications. And it allows actually quite a few. Let's take a look at what they offer. At least Media Temple does. So we have WordPress already installed for my sample. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Click OK, because we're going to do this from scratch. And now let's add a new application. So we can install Drupal, we can install WordPress, and we can install Zencart. So it's a nice little ability that they allow us. So I'm going to scroll down and we're going to install the latest version of WordPress 2.7. Click Install. Like I said, many hosts offer this, so check to see if yours does. And if you don't have a hosting account, check out Media Temple. So website path, where are we going to install this to? We could to blog.jeffwade.com. Why don't we install it jeff-way.com, and we're going to do psd-wp. All right. Database configuration. WordPress requires a database to run, so we're going to create a new one, and we can prefix it with WP, and that's fine. And let's click Install. So we are currently, it has pending installation. So this can take 2 to 3 minutes. It's very quick for them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and come back as soon as this is finished, so you don't have to wait. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so I've paused for a few minutes. I've come back and it says finish installation. So now if we browse to this path, we're met with the WordPress installation. So we're going to call the blog title JW, and my email is jeffrey@jeff-way.com. Allow my blog to appear, that's fine. Install WordPress. And now it's successfully installed. So it gives us this temporary password. I'm going to copy that. Copy, log in, and we're going to do admin, paste that in, remember me. So that's as simple as it was. That's one great feature with Media Temple. So the first thing we're going to do is change my password. So your profile, we're going to come in here. First name, why don't we fill this out real quick? Jeffrey Way. Website. What else? New password. I'm going to do something simple like a password so you guys can remember. Update profile. All right, and we are all set to go. So the first step before we do anything is let's add those sample posts. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to grab that. Actually, no, let's grab this sample one right here. Okay. My first post. Paste that in. And when we want to designate that there's going to be more, we can use this little symbol right here. Okay. And then we paste in the rest of our code. And that designates that this should be on the front page and everything else should come after. So if we want, we can have a category. We can add a tag. Let's do something like a general, miscellaneous. You know, I'm adding very random tags just to have something to work with. Add those tags. And we also want to add an image. So we would ultimately need to be pointing to a specific image. I'm going to leave that blank for now because we haven't actually added any files just yet, but we'll come back to a custom field. So I'm going to copy all of this and I'm going to publish. All right, let's do 2 more so we can mimic the site that we have. My second post, paste that in, general, personal. We could add categories if we want to. We're not going to get into categories too much in this. I plan on maybe in a couple months modifying this, and we're going to take it even further into plugin development and a lot of fun stuff. Custom templates, things like that. My third template, paste that in. Personal. My third template, my third posting. I wonder if I did that for the last one. Publish. Okay, so let's visit the site. It's going to have the default WordPress theme, and these are our 3 postings, along with the Hello World one. But we are not going to be using this at all. I would prefer to teach you guys from scratch. So, you know, sometimes some tutorials, they start with something, maybe the Starkers theme or something like that. I'd prefer not to do that just so you guys can see exactly how to get into it. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to change the theme. So if we come into Appearance, and then we go into Themes, we can see we currently have the WordPress default theme selected. So the first thing we want to do is create our own theme. So what you need to do, this is going to be different for you, but you need to log into your server. So I have Coda open. I'm going to close this out. There's Coda. What are you doing over there? Let's bring it over, and here is my site. So I've logged into my site, jeff-way.com. I've browsed to www.jeffway.com, and we have this psd/wp folder. So these are all the files that WordPress installed for us. That allows us our WordPress admin section, the blog, the comments. All of this was installed for us. So to create a new theme, the first step is we're going to go into our folder, then we're going to go to WP Content, Themes, and there's the default theme that we currently have enabled. So we're going to create a new theme. So I'm going to add a new folder, and I'm going to type in JW. That's going to be the name. Those are my initials. And let's add a new file, style.css. WordPress requires an index.php file in your theme, an index.php file, and a style.css in order for it to recognize your theme. If you remember a while back, that's why I said, let's go ahead and place it in the root of our site. And it needs to be called style.css. It can't be default or something like that. Okay? And then let's create our index.php. Index.php. Okay, let's get started. So within our style sheet, we're going to add some commenting, and this is what WordPress is going to pick up to, if we come back, to give us some information like the name, description, snapshot, and things like that. So within here, we're going to say theme name, and we called it JW, theme URI, and this is going to be the URL. So http jeffway.com/psd-wp. A description, I don't know, this is primarily for a tutorial on Net Plus or on Touch Plus, something like that. That's fine. Author, it's going to be me, Jeffrey Way. Author URI. If I can type. These need to be the same. And you know what? I don't even really maintain this site, so I'm going to do net.touchplus.com. All right. And then finally, version, if we're going to update it, which we will in the coming months, we'll do 1 to begin with, 1.0. All right. So you don't have to memorize these. You can always just copy and paste, or you could store them in a clipping in Text Expander or something like that. So I'm going to save that. It's been saved. I'm going to come back to Firefox, and I'm going to refresh this, and let's see if anything is different. We're in our themes area. Okay, so available themes. So we have our name. It's linking to it, but the description is not showing up, and this little snapshot is not showing up. So here's what we need to do. In order to get the snapshot to work, we actually have to upload an image. We name this image screenshot.png or JPG, but that needs to be within your theme folder. So I've actually already created one that I'm going to grab. And I'm going to pause and grab it and then come right back. Okay, I'm back. Now I paused the screen and I uploaded a screenshot.jpg file. All right. So if we come back now and reload the page, simply by placing screenshot.jpg into that theme folder, it picked it up. So now let's figure out why the description isn't showing up. Let's close this out and go back to style.css. And that's part of the reason. This should be within style.css, like so. Sorry about that. I'm sure you guys caught that. Let's see if that fixed it. And it did. Okay, so that was my mistake. I accidentally placed that into index.php. So now we're all set up. I'm going to click on this, and we haven't added anything just yet. That's picking up the old code that we just removed, but we're going to click activate it. Now, as soon as we begin creating our site, this would display the website. Click activate. And we now have our theme activated. So if we go to view site, let me view this in a new browser. All right, now we have a blank theme because it's 100% blank. Index.php, let's save that and refresh the page. And now this is exactly what we want. We have an empty theme that we can begin coding. Now, we've already converted it to HTML, so we can reuse quite a bit. So let's begin by doing that. I'm going to bring this out, close that out for the time being, and let's find, here's the theme that we've been working on. So I'm going to take this, the images folder, bring that into, whoops, let's hold on. Let's go back to remote, and let's bring it in. Sorry about that. So I've dragged in my images folder. It's going to take just a second to load. You can see down there. Style.css. That should be good. So let's go ahead and open that with, let's do Espresso, because I just want to copy and paste so we don't overwrite the that commenting. So I'm going to, whoops, close that out. Copy that, exit out of it, and open up style.css. And paste it in. All right, here we go. We have our images folder, we have our style.css, and let's see what that gives us right now. Refresh the page. Okay, nothing just yet because our index is still blank. So what's the best way to do this? Let's open up Coda, and I'm going to drag index.html. Let's just open that with Espresso again. Close, copy that, and then open up index.php and paste it in. Close this out. And this is pretty much brings us back to what we had before. So if we come in, refresh the page, we have this, all of our code, but the CSS is not picking up. So why is that? It's because WordPress works a little differently. We can't simply use these relative paths because we have this huge directory structure of, WP content, themes, JW. So the way we do it is we're going to learn our first template tag, and it's our way to get our style sheet. So rather than just doing href style.css, we can do PHP, and we'll use a WordPress function called blog info style sheet underscore URL. Close that PHP, and then I'm going to do a /. Okay, so this will return the directory where the URL, the style sheet is stored, and I can actually get rid of style.css because it's already linking directly to it. So I'm going to save that. Remember, I'm working directly on my server. So I'm going to save that, come back onto my site. This is live. Refresh that again. That's not showing up. I must have left off. I bet I know what it was. Let's go back. Blog info. Yeah, we have our opening quote. We just need to close out the quote. Come back, refresh the page, and now it's showing. So we don't have our images up just yet, but the site is displaying. But why are some images showing and others are not? This is because these are background images, if you can remember. They're all set as background images. So the hard-coded images are not showing up. So how can we fix that? Well, we'll do that by once again using a WordPress function called template_directory. But before we get into that, let's set up our header just a little bit. So what I think I should do, because this can take a little bit of time to write, is I'm going to go ahead and type it, pause, and then we'll go over it. Okay, I just paused for a couple minutes. I'm going to take all of this within our head, close it out. Don't worry, we're going to replace it, and add in some new information. So let's see if I can. All right, that's about the best we can do. So let's go over some of this. The first thing, title. We want to replace the title with whatever we set in WordPress. So I'm going to open Manage Themes, and we are going to go to General and Blog Title. Notice these. We have a description, and let's change that to just another WordPress blog. Let's just do another, I can't even remember what we called it, another rarely updated blog. Another rarely updated blog. And blog title is JW. So we can access these values. So we're already turning our site into a dynamic one. So within the title, rather than just typing JW, we replace it with WordPress functions. The first one is blog info name, and that returns whatever the name of our blog is. Now I have a space, and I'm typing PHP WP title. That is going to return, we could actually take that off for now, but to give you an idea, that returns the name of the specific posting. So for instance, if this was my first posting, that would say JW space my first posting. Okay, really simple. And the rest of this are just ways to access the correct areas. Like for instance, we need to link to RSS, so we do a link rel equals alternate. And the href, we have another WordPress function within blog info. We pass in RSS2_URL. So for instance, if I refresh the page, I think I saved, let's save just to make sure. Save it, refresh, and we go to view source. You'll see how WordPress has replaced these. So the style sheet, that got replaced with the absolute path going directly to our themes folder. Our RSS feed, that blog info RSS2_URL, that linked this. Okay. So the only other ones are somewhat trivial, like Pingback, if you want to have a pingback URL, you just use blog info pingback. So if you want in your project, you can almost just copy this and paste it into the new ones. That's what most people do. Shortcut icon, that's if you want to add a favicon right up here, like so. We haven't created that yet, but we'll do it shortly. But to link to that, we use blog info template directory. Remember I told you about that? That will return the URL directly to your theme folder, to your template folder. And then we just navigate to img/favicon.ico. So let's fix just one of these images. Like let's fix the search icon. So let's come back, and it's within the header. So we have to change, instead of img/search icon, we need to replace it or prepend it with a WordPress function. PHP blog info template directory. And then we also have to do a period to concatenate, like so. Now we want to echo this out. So if I come back and refresh the page, we're getting a syntax error expecting a period. And of course, that is because I haven't closed out PHP. Okay, so blog info template directory, we're using the period to concatenate, and then we are adding img/search icon.jpg and closing it out. Now, if I refresh the page, you're going to see it's still not working, and it's because we need to echo out this template directory. So I'm going to prepend echo. Refresh the page, and now you can see it's displaying. All right, so blog info template directory. So what I'm going to do is, I know I'm going to use this very often, something like that. So what I can do is, let's just copy that. I use a text expander, so why don't we open up text expander, and I should have a WordPress, and you can see template directory. I pasted that in, and we assigned the value of WP WordPress TD, WordPress template directory. So now whenever we want to access that, we can just type WordPress template directory, and it saves me some time. I recommend you do the same for many WordPress functions. Okay, what else? Style sheet, most of these we've gone over. Yeah, content type, this just uses WordPress to grab what kind of content type it is. You can just copy and paste these. Now, I'm going to go ahead and fix the paths of these images, even though we don't necessarily need to. I think it's good just to show you how. So let's fix these images right here. So we can do WP TD, all right? And we need to concatenate. Close that out. All right, and we need to do this for each one. So what I'll do is copy this whole thing, because the only difference is the number. So I can paste that in and change that to 2. And then we're going to do it for one more right here. Three. Save that, come back and refresh the page. And now those images are showing up. Tree photo. Let's come back to tree photo secondary right here. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm on this small screen, so we're going to get some overlap, which drives me nuts. I couldn't work like this, but that's the best we can do on this low resolution. Okay. And is there anything else? Yeah, follow us on Twitter. So let's come back. Follow. I wonder if there's any way to just close that out. I don't use Coda too much. Hide file browser. There we go. Cool. So let's come back to this, and we have WordPress template directory. Like so. So I assume you have some PHP knowledge if you're watching this. If not, watch our Diving into PHP series. Okay, so now we've pretty much successfully replaced all of the images, and we have what we originally did, but we do have the advantage we have some dynamics with the title at the very top. But we need to take that further, and we're going to do that in the next lesson.